Hello, good morning, family. Good morning. I just want to come on here and talk to you guys about many different topics I was thinking about. I was watching the Democratic national debate last night, like hopefully many of you were. And I noticed that, again, they left out the conversation with black people. I noticed that. I noticed Kamala Harris didn't talk about us. Joe Biden didn't talk about us. Actually, I should say, MSNBC didn't talk about us. They didn't ask questions about us. They left us out. So this time, I can't really blame those who are running for president now because they're getting asked questions or whatever. So you can't blame them this time. Alright? So MSNBC is the one not talking about us. We're being left out of the conversation. So we have to show them that if you leave us out, fine, we're going to stay out. And we're not going to vote for you. It's very simple. Vote for them for too long and get nothing out of the deal. It's time for us to get something out of the deal. So if they feel that, okay, we're going to leave black folks out, then and say F them, we're going to say F them to the Democratic Party and to all the mainstream media. So, but we have to get involved in politics. I'm not saying we all have to run. I'm saying we should all be aware of what's going on and who's doing what and what's going on with the president, with the Congress, or whatever. Even if you have to get what's called a voter app, you can get that, and it tells you exactly what it's doing, what passes, what's up for bills, what's up to pass, what fails, whatever. But we have to become politically aware of what's going on. We have to know what's going on around the world. We have to know what's going on in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, wherever. Because today, the way the world is so connected, that we have to see what's coming. And we have to start our own businesses and see what works out for us. So we can't just stay here to the shores of America. White supremacy is global. If you notice, everyone else thinks global. We have to start making trips to Africa and connect with them. Everyone else is going to Africa but us. Like I said in my last video, I get an opportunity to. I have my own money, my own freedom. I'm going to Africa. Buy me a plane ticket, set it up, and just go. Go see the place. So, another thing with ADOS, we have to keep hashtagging the ADOS. We have to keep hashtagging no black agenda, no vote. Keep pushing them to expose their racism. Keep pushing them to show us that they're going to ignore us. We have to wake up our fellow black people in this country, whether you be from wherever you're from. You gotta wake them up so you realize what's really going on. I'm not saying be forceful and try to make them believe what you want to believe, but you gotta go down to their level and bring them up and say, listen, look at what's going on in the country. Pay attention to that stuff, what's really happening to our people. Or even in Africa, where they're using the vaccines and killing people off. Or all of these NGOs going over there. In Uganda, there was some lady who had a medical practice, whatever, had no qualifications, sharing her stuff on YouTube. 100 Ugandan babies are gone because of this lady. You have to ask yourself, why are they skipping their own people and going to so-called help our people in Africa? Does that make sense? There are people, white kids in Europe, or even in the USA, or any white country that can use their help, their medical help, but they're not going to them. They're going to those in Africa. And we see time and time again, all these medications, the Ebolas, the AIDS, whatever, any disease. You notice they always put it where the resources are right in Africa and kill folks off. And they always want to have coups and stuff like that and destabilize African nations. You guys on the continent, you guys have to be awake to that stuff. Know what's going on globally. See what's going on in the U.S., how we're getting treated here. Because you guys have power, international power. There's 54 of you. 54. You guys can go to the UN and say, listen, U.S., we see how you're treating our people in Africa. So if you want something from us, you got to stop that. We see how you're treating African Americans, our brothers and sisters. You can stop that. UK, same deal. China, same deal. And you say that if you don't want them, fine, send them home. Pay reparations and send them home. You gotta stop letting all these countries come with their military and colonizing you. Have to stop all that. Stop taking loans from China, the US, the IMF, the World Bank. Stop it. You have all the money you need in the ground. If Africa will unite, come together, the whole world will be done. Done. There's no reason why the U.S. has a military base in your countries. There's no reason why France has one. The UK. There's no reason why China has one. None. You should have your own military in your countries. Notice, no other country that you have your military in theirs, but you let them have theirs in yours. No. That needs to stop. If you need training, fine. Hire them and say, listen, you can come over, you can train us, whatever. We'll buy weapons from you, and you copy and make your own weapons. Because we're the first people. We are the most intelligent people on this earth. We are the first people who made science, math, religion. We had all of that stuff, philosophy, everything. We had our own African kingdoms. We are a great people. We have to go back to where we came from. And it's sad. It's a good thing, White supremacy is falling every day. Every day. Population's going out. Within another 15 to 20 years, they won't be the majority in the U.S. There'll be more black and brown people, and they're afraid of that. But since we know that's true, you have to watch out for this interracial swirling and dating thing. We have to stop all that. I'm not saying you can't go date outside the race, whatever. But if you notice, anytime you do, especially with the white woman, you see, time and time again, it comes out. Oh, white woman says black man raped her. Black man goes to jail. In this feminism and Me Too movement, you see they're trying to make the black man look like a sexual predator. Think about that. Black women, this could be, and I don't understand this. Why are black women supporting this? You guys have black husbands, black fathers, black sons, black nephews. There's black men all over your family. Do you want them to be portrayed that way? I don't think you do. Because, see, it starts with those of us who are well-to-do, but then you see it starts creeping down to the everyday black person. Oh, a sexual predator. Oh, he's this and he's that. When if you notice, look at history. It's been the white man who's been doing all the rapings. It's been white folks, the white man and the white woman. White women, 40% of slaves, or I should say 40% of white women owned slaves. Back in the chattel slavery days. They used to sit up there and set it up so black women would get raped by either a white man or a fellow black male slave, so that way she could breastfeed her kids. White men used to walk around and just rape their female slaves, and they'd have their kids. The kids were called mulatto, and they were still treated like slaves. Still, once you had one drop of black blood in you, you were a slave. The white man is the original baby daddy. We got that from him. We gotta stop that. We gotta get back to having strong black families. I'm not saying we're gonna have our differences, but this notion that, okay, a woman doesn't need a father, a child doesn't need his father in the house or in his life is wrong. Same thing like a child needs their mother in the life. You need masculine energy and feminine energy to raise a family. It takes a village to raise a family. There are certain things that a father can teach a child, especially if it's a boy, a male child, that a female cannot teach. Or a female will try to teach it, but she'll struggle. A female may have to do other things to get the child to understand it, where a father doesn't have to do all that. A woman may understand her daughter a lot more than a father will. A woman is the first teacher of the child, so black men, we do need our black women. Black woman, the father is the protector of the family and the child. He's the one that can tell you about, okay, tell his daughter, listen, this kind of man, stay away from him. A black mother can tell her black son, this kind of woman, stay away from him or her. Leave that thing alone. She can say, women like this, don't mess with them. Women like those over there, that's who you want to be with. Same thing with the father to his daughter. Man like that, he's a good man. Men like him over here, that are like bums and whatever, stay away from him. A father can say to his daughter, leave the white man alone. You can have white friends, but no sexual relationship, no loving relationship at all. We have to get to know who we are, black people. We have to find our own. We have to figure out what's our story, besides what the white man has told us. Because if you notice something, I've always asked this question, and I'm going to ask many of you who will one day watch this video. Back in chattel slavery days, you couldn't read. They wiped everything, your culture, your name, your language, everything, your identity from you. And they gave you what they wanted you to have, or what's their identity. They said, this is your name, this is your religion, this is your language, right? Okay, most of us could not read back in those days, but guess what? They gave you one book, the Bible. It's really stupid for us to think that they gave us that Bible to help us. If they wanted to help us, they wouldn't have enslaved us in the first place. They would have said, hey man, we found this, like, we want to live in peace and harmony, and we want to spread out, we want to learn about you guys, we want to come, live, and trade, and, build together, have a relationship together, a helpful relationship together. Because back in them days, we had kingdoms. If they wanted to live in harmony, they could have said, man, you guys got great kingdoms. We're trying to build up Europe. Can you show us how you built your stuff up? Can you show us how to do it? So we can go off and create our own kingdoms and build up. Because there's no reason why each and every race on this earth cannot be great. There's no reason. The earth is big enough to where the white people can exist wherever they want to exist at. Black people can live in peace. Asians can live in peace. We can all live in harmony. I'm going to tell you right now. There is a divine thing. There is a divine order. The world is out of balance. The world is out of balance. 400 years of slavery has been the biggest and the longest Holocaust. And until black folks are repaired and rectified, the world will continue to be out of balance. Black people, we have to stop this abortion. Our black children are precious. We can't follow the white man and the white woman to say, oh, it's okay to kill your child just because, or women's rights. Now, if it's a medical thing, that may be different. I won't speak on that. But as far as us reproducing ourselves, we have to. We have to. 20 million of our babies are gone because of abortion. If you don't want to have kids, fine. Either don't have sex or use protection. Those two things. It's not right that abortion is legal in this country. It should be illegal, highly illegal. It should be. Those who commit abortion deserve to die. That's a form, to me, that's a form of murder or child abuse. We have to get off of that, black people. They've been killing us for 400 years. We can't do the work for them. We have to stop shooting each other. We see all the time, police, even random people, think it's okay to just kill a black person. I guess because to them, black lives don't matter. How is it that we can say Black Lives Matter, but in our own communities, we're killing each other? It's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do. We have to come together and say our lives do matter. And black people have to come together and respect black people. I'm not saying you have to get along. Respect doesn't mean that you have to like every black person. It means you respect them enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to harm my brother or my sister or someone who could be my mother or my father. I'm not going to do that. Are we that stupid that we can't resolve our differences peacefully? Think about it. There are billions of black people on this earth. It's not humanly possible for all of us to get along. But guess what? We have to stop killing each other over dumb reasons. Just because one person rises up a little bit over the rest doesn't mean you kill that one person. Because if you kill that one person, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. Because that one person can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to turn around and do more for our community. Look at Nipsey Hussle. He was successful. And he wanted to go and help his community. So that way the next person behind him could be successful. And the person behind that person could be successful. And guess who killed him? It wasn't just Eric Holder. The government had him killed. I know that's true. Same like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. Those who stood up for us, they had him. They killed him eventually. Look, if you guys look into this, look into the history of this, look up the Berlin Conference, where all the European nations came and divided Africa. Said, oh, I want this piece, I want that piece, I want this piece. There was not one African there. Even recently, they had a medical conversation, and there were some Africans who decided to go. They couldn't get into the UK. So they had a whole meeting about Africa, and not one African was there. They want to decide the plan for Africa. No, it's our job to decide our plan for Africa, not the white man's job, not the Asian man's job, or the Asian woman. We need to tell them, stay in your place, stay in Europe. You worry what's going on in Europe or in Asia. You fix that. Don't come here and tell us what to do. This is our land. This is our land. Another thing you can look up Memorandum 46. This came out in 1879 under Jimmy Carter. They talked about how they got to put drugs in the communities to destroy black families. How they have to prevent a black Messiah who could electrify and unite black people in this country. Because if black people in this country alone get together, it'll cause such a major shift, not only in this country, but across the globe. Because with black people, when we see one person successful, then it inspires the rest of us to be successful. If you light a match, it lights really, really quickly. Look at Haiti. Haiti fought the French and get away, and the French had to leave. They got their freedom from France. And when the brothers back in the slave days heard about that, they said, what? They got their freedom? Oh, we getting ours. We're going to fight and get ours. That's one of the reasons why the Civil War was fought. Not because they want to free some slaves. There's no way in hell you can tell somebody, oh, all of a sudden they had a moral compass to just sweep over the nation. And a whole bunch of white folks said, oh, it was wrong. Maybe there was somebody in that state that were saying it was wrong, but the majority of them were not. The majority of white folks, oh, they had no problem with it. To this day, we're still getting lynched. We're still getting murdered by white folks, the white supremacists, the KKK, the police, whatever you want to call it. The government, look up from Michigan, that's the government doing that stuff. That's the government. I guarantee you, another 20 years from now, 10 years from now, when they want to buy the land, white folks want to come in, the water be cleaned up, the pipes be changed out, all that stuff will happen. They're even killing their own people because they want to gentrify the land. Black people, we have to get out of that mindset. We can't kill our own people ourselves. We have to come together. Like it was back in the 50s, back in the 20s, when we had our own businesses, our own towns, our own neighborhoods. We got to come together and live in harmony. It won't be easy, but we have to come together. We got to spend our dollars with each other. I'm not saying we can't go to Chick-fil-A or to McDonald's, well, not McDonald's, but any other white business or any other Asian-owned business, whatever, and spend some money. But we have to spend more in our community and build up. Because if you notice something, every community spends a certain amount of their money outside their community. Every community. I guarantee you, if we open up a black restaurant, you'll find some white folks in there. You'll find eventually at one point there'll be some times where white folk will walk up in there and spend their money. But guess what you notice? There's always